Welcome back to another inspiring episode of the No Limits Life podcast. I'm your host, Nordine, joined by my co-host, Ken.
Hey, Nordine.
Today, we have someone who knows what it means to rise from humble beginnings and build a life of purpose and passion. Our guest has gone from a small-town kid in Tipton, Indiana, to a first-round MLB draft pick for the Chicago White Sox. Wow. To a successful mortgage consultant and community advocate in Tucson. His journey is a powerful reminder that no matter where you start, it's the mindset you bring to each day that defines your path. Success is not just about what you achieve. It's about the lives you touch, the integrity you carry, and the legacy you leave behind. Rob is a true embodiment of this idea. With a background in professional baseball, a commitment to community, and a passion for making good things happen for others. He is a perfect guest to talk about purpose, resilience, and the power of giving back. Please welcome to the show, Rob Purvis.
Thank you. Hey, Rob. Appreciate you having me.
Rob, it's great to have you here. Let's kick things off with today's question. Success is not just about what you achieve. It's about the lives you touch, the integrity you carry, and the legacy you leave behind. How does that resonate in your own journey from small-town roots to professional sport and beyond?
It's funny, when I heard you just say that to start this, I'm just like, that gets me fired up just hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it truly is, I eat it, breathe it, and sleep it. And I've always said this, I did come from a humble background and in a small town from 5,000 people, but I would never change how I was raised. And I think a lot of who I am today was based on having, my mother, my grandfather, and a lot of my best friends' parents in my life, showing me and honestly, it wasn't like they sat you down and talked to you. It was just like they led by example how you treat people. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I can say about my small town is that we know how to treat people, and we were raised the right way.
It's interesting you say that, Rob. And Ken, all the guests, almost every one of them, start with their parents.
That's true.
Right.
Where
they came from, their source, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, you're only hungry if there's nothing on your plate. That's when you want to have something.
Sure.
And that's most people who made it, myself including, I come from a very humble background, and I'm sure, Ken, you do too, is the fact that we didn't have it led us to want it.
Right.
The fact that we didn't have it led us to want it. And the same with people that are coming from other countries. They don't have it. So when they come here, they work 10 times harder.
Sure.
And
they see the opportunity.
And yes, it's seizing the opportunity that otherwise didn't exist before.
Right.
So that's, in your case, that's very true. You come from a humble background. Despite that, your parents were there to show you that what life is truly about and what you should be, going for.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom always say this. My dad really wasn't in the picture. My grandfather was, and my mother gave my brother and I always said she gave us enough rope to hang ourselves. So like we didn't really have a curfew, growing up. But we had, she had two very simple rules. A's and B's, no C's. You don't play sports, and no drugs, no drinking.
Yeah.
She's other than that, go get them.
Yeah. So there were, set rules,
Right.
The rules. Boundaries. And mind you, those are the rules of success.
Mm-hmm.
It's discipline, in the word discipline, there's the word disciple. Okay? Be your own disciple. When you're disciplined, that's what you are, your own disciple. And that's what led you to do the great things that you've been doing.
So like for your professional life, personal life, what juices you up? What gets you going?
It used to be you just waking up every day and competing. When I playing ball and stuff, it's the drive to get to the big leagues, to become an all-star, to be the best baseball player I could be. And baseball was my life. The competition is what made me tick then. Honestly, today, what makes me tick is every single day I wake up, I put my 2 feet on the floor and I say, let's go make good shit happen for other people. And I that's what literally makes me tick every day. Some days are, not everybody wakes up in a great mood every day, but I realize, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot worse than we do. And, I feel that there's things that, I always say when you surround yourself with like-minded people with big hearts, great things are going to happen. And I've been fortunate enough to, here in Tucson, surround myself with a lot of really good people. So it's not just myself. It's myself, my sphere, my teammates, my family. We all have the same passion and we all the same drive and the same vision of what making good things happen for other people looks like.
So were you like that even as a kid, or did that come?
Totally. That's what, going back to what you were saying, is that's how we were raised.
Right.
If you see somebody, a lady that's, has a flat tire on the side of the road, you wouldn't have to have 10 people do it, because the first person that drive by is going to stop and help them.
Right.
And that's just how.
So you saw examples
raised.
of that as you're growing up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, it was the norm. It wasn't now. You don't always see that. So it's like, but in my town growing up, it was the right thing to do.
So would you still do that? You see a person on the side of the road, flat tire, what would you do?
I might call AAA, because I'm not real
If it's
good
110
with
degrees
that,
out.
Yeah.
Rob,
We'll make sure they're taken care of.
I want to get back to that word you used, drive, and then you switch it to what makes me tick, which is the same thing to say, I'm driven by this. And I think, what drives us when we get to the top is that it gets lonely there. And I've said it many times, very windy and very lonely. So you start looking at other things and other people and say, this is greater than just me.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing about helping other people, you have to give unconditionally, right? And that's not always easy to do.
But
it's what you.
That's
if you're
the true definition.
Correct. If you're true about and very sincere about helping other people, you do it unconditionally.
The things that are conditional, love is unconditional, charity is unconditional. You can't just give and then go on Channel 7 and say, hey, I just gave. You know what I mean? That's to me, it's ego-driven giving. Love-driven giving is not, you're not expecting anything in return. That's beautiful. That's what it is all about. Your upbringing in a small town with a tight-knit community clearly had a big impact on you. How did this shape your life in later years?
Well, it's funny because my best friends today are still my best friends from growing up, from my small town. I went to school with them since I was 5 years old. And
how many of those can you count on your one hand?
Of my best friends?
Yeah.
I have several really good friends there, but I have 5 of my very
not
best friends.
5,000 Facebook friends. That's what I want to say. People that are your friends can fit in one hand.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such a thing as 5,000 friends, my friends.
They're acquaintances.
Okay? And when you have 5,000 friends, you are pushed away from true connection. Yeah. And so those friends, you still connect with them? You still do things with them?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, absolutely. I would like to get back home more than I do now. I used to go home more than I do now, but whether it's through fantasy football, staying in touch, or traveling together, or golf trips, whatever it may be. Yeah. But just a simple text too, and even if I don't see someone for 9 months or a year, or whatever, I mean, it's picks up right off like we do.
Yeah, and it's the willingness to relive those moments, because those moments are real, even though they're gone, but they're still in your head. Mm-hmm. You still relive those moments. You close your eyes and go back in time. You're actually emotionally involved with those moments, as if you are recreating them.
Yeah.
So
I come from a million times too.
Yeah, I come from a small hometown, and when I go there, it triggers good memories, but it triggers a lot of bad memories, very sad memories. I grew up, in a, like I said, very poor environment, but I was bullied every single day. So those are the, when I go to France, in that small town, when I drive pass by the school, ironically, they never, that school is closed, but there's barbed wire around like a prison. Since then, it's still there. I tell you, every time I pass by, I choke. Because every memory,
it all comes back
in a second,
yeah.
Boom. I have to go home and meditate for an hour to sort of get rid of those. But, it's true. Same applies when we want to recreate those good time with friends and go to that bar that we frequented or that field we played, and yeah, that's very true. So I'm glad that you're still connected to those friends and still doing things together.
You know, you've given back a lot, right, to the community, which is great. And so I guess my question is, what, for the listeners, viewers that we have today, what would you recommend? Because we touched on this when you and I were together not too long ago, but what would you recommend people do if they want to get involved with the community that they're in?
You know, it's funny because my business coach, my former business coach, sat me down, like third meeting I had with him, and once he found out what my passion was about helping and giving back, he asked me what I thought was the strangest question. He asked me, he said, "But why are you being so selfish?" And it took me for a minute. I'm like, what do you mean? Because everything we used to do was behind the scenes, just me going to my friends saying, "Hey, we've got this kid that needs this, or this organization needs help with this, let's do that." And he said, "Rob, when you have influence," he goes, "you need to get it out there, because there's so many people that want to give back or are willing to give back and help, but they don't know how. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to organize it. But if you put it out there and they're in your sphere, they will. You present the opportunity, they will do it." And the stuff that we've been doing, that we do every year, I mean, it's grown tenfold since then. I was just always worried, kind of what you said before, that people were going to think that I was doing it for, hey, look at me reasons, when there was none. I mean, doesn't even cross my mind, right? Mm-hmm. And my coach then was like, "Rob, anyone that thinks that about you doesn't belong in your circle." Mm-hmm. And that was that statement was really powerful to me, because he was right, because mm-hmm. the people that do want to help, and the people that are really in your sphere that have that like mind and big heart, they don't think that way. They're like, what can we do to make this better?
So what do you tell a person, though, like, let's just say a person's just out of college, they have their first job, they don't really, maybe they're even in a new city, they don't know anybody. What do you do? What advice would you give them to get involved in the community?
First thing I tell them is ask them, what are you passionate about? Find something that you're passionate about. What is it? You know, whether it's some people, it's heart disease, some is kids, some is veterans, pets, animals, whatever it may be. Whatever you're passionate about, go find an organization, find out what they're doing, find out how you can help. That's the number one easiest way to do it. Mm-hmm. Now you're putting yourself in rooms, again, with like-minded people, big hearts that care about, show the same passion as you do, and you're going to make good things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's not hard. It's just you got to be able to, figure out what your passion is, and then go put yourself out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so I call it the Tony Robbins way of seeking passion. Tony Robbins always on stage saying that, right? It's a sort of a motivational jargon. Go find your passion. But do you know that 3/4 of the people, when we tell them that, they are inspired? That's for sure. When they go home, they start scratching their head. So I want to give you an opportunity to describe that. To how do you get a passion? How do you find a passion? Obviously, we can't go to the store and buy passion,
right,
in packs of 12. What is a passion?
To me, it's something that I think, because of how I was raised and the things that people helped me growing up, not having, certain things that most kids have, but having those in the community that help my brother and I get those things, make sure we have those things. I remember those from the time I was really little, all the way through high school. And I always told myself, and I told my mom, and I told my friends around me and my brother, I said, as soon as I'm able to give back, I'm going to. I'll never forget where I came from. I'll never forget the generosity that I had growing up. And that was what's so important to me, as soon as I was able to be able to do that. Now, that said, what I didn't know then was that, because we did do things to help around the community, like, we go and help paint buildings or do whatever was needed for, a charity organization there. But, mm-hmm. It wasn't as, Tucson's a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more opportunity to give back, a lot more need.
Sure. We have more than 5,000 people in Tucson.
We're slightly. So I guess to answer your question, that passion for me came from other people's generosity, me seeing that and being very grateful. and never forgetting where I came from.
Let's dissect into the context of the passion. We talked about content. Let's go back in time when you were interested in playing baseball. Before playing, when you were watching these guys playing, what was happening in your head and your heart?
So
Go
you
back
mean like
there.
in high school or
Yeah,
college?
when it starts with a certain interest in doing something, and then you start feeling a sort of a love for it. You want to do it, but you're not sure yet how it's going to turn out.
Well, I knew from 4 years old what I was going to do.
That's where I want to go.
There's
back
zero
to.
doubt about it. And it's funny because my grandma is the one that got me to start playing.
Really?
And when I
At
was
4?
At 4, we would start playing catch out in the driveway or the road or whatever. By the time I was 5, she had a glove. By the time I was 6, she couldldn't catch me anymore.
Oh, that's
And
great.
So again, that's where I want to go. I want to go to that 4-year-old Rob. 4-year-old Rob is not playing yet. Is about to start playing. But what is 4-year-old Rob feeling when he sees these athletes?
That's what I'm going to do.
Yes.
I was in
Why?
first grade, and I found this book, and I knew it. There was never anything there was never another thing I wanted to do besides be a professional baseball player, and that's all I talked about. And I think that, I mean, like I said, when I was in first grade, we were supposed to write 3 things down that we wanted to be. And I wrote down professional baseball player, professional baseball player.
Exactly.
Nice.
And this is
There
where
was not another
I want
option for
to
me.
go,
No
Rob.
plan B.
There was no plan B.
Let's think about this for a minute. You wrote this and that and this and that. You saw yourself already there, right? Same thing happened to me. I was even, expelled from the school where I was in France. I was, I think, 6 or 7. I wrote and drew 2 things: the American flag and a muscle man. I can still now, today, I would draw the muscle man exactly the same way. 2 things: American flag and the muscle man. What happened to me? I moved to America and I became Mr. Universe. For the same reason I got expelled from the school, which is a good thing because I started thinking, I'm out of here when I get, to an age where I can get out of here. But so I want to go back to that because we talk about passion, but no one is explaining, from the pageant, Miss America pageant saying, I want to help the world because I'm passionate about it, to Tony Robbins saying, go and find your passion. To me sometimes saying, yeah, you need to find your passion. To Rob, yourself, saying, it's passion. To Humberto Lopez saying, when you're passionate about something, you never work another day.
Mm-hmm.
All these people are saying the same thing. But I want to delve into how it happens.
How do you know?
Yes, so we can give the listeners and whoever is watching this a blueprint to find a passion.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can't find it at a store. Okay, we're sure about that. You can't find it in using a spiritual substitute, aka alcohol, drugs, and all of these things. You find passion when you are prompted by your own heart that there's something you would like to try. You want to try baseball and you liked it, so you played it. What happened? It became a skill. Then you mastered the skill. Then by mastering the skill, it became your passion. And like Sugar Ray Leonard said to me when they were working together, he said, and I asked him, would you do the same if you were not paid? And he said, yes. Because it's the journey that led me to my passion. And 100%. I use that to do everything else in my life. And that's what you're using with your mortgage company, right? With everything you're doing, as a platform to help. Because trust me, if there was no help, if there's no one to help, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
See, that is, again, how you get to be passionate about something. You first pick the activity. You like the activity. You master it. You love it. Becomes a passion. and you share it. Would you say?
Absolutely. That's kind of further on that. It's when you ask me how do you get involved or what is the passion part, it's like, well, you got to find something you like, right? Or something you care about. Baseball to me was a love from day one. I used to cry if we got rained out when I was like 6, 7 years old. If we missed practice. I just couldn't. I thought the world was ending. There was never anything else I ever wanted to do. But for those people who, in baseball, it's a lot similar to military. When you get out of the military, it's like, what do I do?
Right.
A lot of my buddies are baseball players. Same thing. When they're done,
they're lost.
What am I going to do?
And that's a transition, And I think the erroneous question, because it's an erroneous question, when we say to ourselves, I lived it, and to go from a professional activity or even having a body at that level and transition to Joe Blow, just a regular Joe. The question, what should I do, is erroneous. Is how should I be feeling now? Because the ego is always going to try to get you where you were before. When you have an injury working out and you don't work out for 3 months, when you go back to the gym, guess what? Your ego wants to get back right where it left. Mm-hmm. Same with sports. We want to live that experience again, but we can't anymore. We don't have the ability, physical ability, emotional ability, whatever the case may be. So the question should be, how now I have this, I use it as a platform. Now, this is these credentials that I have now. I'm going to use that as a platform to be at the service of humanity instead of thinking about what should I do now, which is ego-driven attitude, because there's I in it. What should I be doing? Okay, we can phrase it that way. Be doing, you can have do and be, but not what should I do now? Because you're going to, by asking these kinds of questions, what should I do now, takes you in where trust me, you do not want to go there. But how should I feel now, and what should I be doing to help humanity is more of a question that should be asked when you transition from professional sport. And I'm sure that's what happened to you.
Well, unfortunately, what a lot of people do is when they are playing at a high level, or I go to the military as well, when they basically every day they wake up, they've been told what to do, right? Mm-hmm. And I have so much respect for those who serve our country. But when they get out, like there's no preparation really to the next steps. Yeah. Right. So, what I tell, guys that I, talk to that are coming out of the military or guys that have played is that it goes back to the passion thing. What are you passionate about? What do you love? Yeah. What is it you enjoy?
Put the same passion, same love.
You take the same drive, work ethic, passion, that you had doing what you did before, and then you put that in all of that same energy into the next thing. Yeah. And a lot of times people don't. And I watch some of my buddies I played with, they're still scrambling. Yeah. Right. We're talking 20 years ago.
Wow, that's sad.
There is such a thing as feeling sorry for yourself, and you can also become a professional at it.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I've watched it. It's sad because, these are guys I care about, and it's, you try, no matter what you say, sometimes they have a mental block there that just won't let them get out of their own way with it. And it's like, to me, it goes back to where I was talking about, like how I was raised. Like, you don't give up. Like, that's not an option. Like, I can't even say the word quit. It almost makes me sick, like saying the word. And it's like, so, okay, this part's done. And that was such a big part of my life. And it's all I wanted to do. But my life's not over.
Yeah, it's most of these people, in the military, unfortunately, as you mentioned, there's no help. There is help, but they come back and they feel like there's no more camaraderie and all of these things, and it's almost like they run out of life before they run out of time. Mm-hmm. They run out of life before they run out of time, and that's so sad. Because they have their entire life in front of them. but because they feel let down, they're giving up on themselves.
Got to find that next passion.
And
and purpose. You know, I think that sometimes their purpose every day was to wake up and serve our country.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, now what, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But there's so many skill sets that these guys have.
Absolutely.
And it's
takes us back to what we were saying earlier. Just try something. Just take a piece of paper. If you're not sure about what you need to be doing, just list things that you liked when you grew up.
Exactly.
You know, and go do them. Try them. I guarantee you that you'll be able to find one that you're going to transform into a skill, master the skill, and make that passion and use that for the rest of your life. And we can have more than one passion, as I mentioned before.
Absolutely.
You know, like your kids can.
Sure.
They're passionate about music, cars, and they do that perfectly.
Right.
You know, they sing perfectly. They when I see them working on cars, I'm like, you're not a mechanic, but they do better than a mechanic.
Right.
But that's because they're passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
No, absolutely. And you know, when baseball's over for me, people ask me, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm not sure." But there was 3 things that I told myself that I wanted. The number one was I want to help people. Number 2, I did not want to be stuck in corporate America. And number 3, I never wanted my income capped. I want, meaning that if I work as hard as I know I'm going to work, then the sky's the limit. And I don't want, you know, it doesn't matter how hard you work going to a place of work, because I don't call it a job. If it becomes a job, it's time to do something else. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't cap my income.
And you know, Rob, all of these things, you know, like I said, are content. Okay, they're what you do. But you said something very powerful, which is helping others. When you help others, you're also helping yourself. Because if you're not helping others, you'd be lost.
Yeah.
So helping others is the content. Helping you is a result of that, which is context.
What's crazy, because that drive, what made me tick before was the competition and winning. Mm-hmm. So I cannot stand losing. like I can't stand it at all. But now what gives me that same adrenaline is helping other people. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, I live for it. It's
a form of winning. You know, you make them win and you win as well.
I used to be able to throw baseball pretty well. I could hit really well. But do you ever see Sandlot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm Squints now. I can't throw with crap. It's so embarrassing. I tried to throw a ball to my son, and he was over there, and it went to the right. It was very embarrassing. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody today. I hope you enjoyed our visit with Rob. If you did, please share, like, comment, subscribe. Am I missing anything?
Comment, please.
Comment.
No. We can never say more. Comment.
And subscribe.
Please share, because you're helping us help you.
Yep. Thank you. And until we see you again, thanks for joining us on No Limits Life.